hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Evening, everyone. Oh, hope you're good. The clocks all went, but it's still 8 PM UK time. Race still starts 8 PM UK time. So even though the clocks went back, last night in the UK, still always at 8 PM. So yeah, 1 hour. I have the countdown, as you can see there. Where do I go? Do I go that way? Didn't I? No, that way. There we go. There we go. Up there. There we go. Oh, hope you're good. Hope you're good. I've had a nice roast dinner. I'm absolutely stuffed. I could very much do with post dinner nap right now, but you know, I'm getting through it, guys. I'm getting through it for you all. But doing very well. Tomorrow morning at 4 AM, you're going to Disneyland Paris. Oh, enjoy, man. Absolutely enjoy. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Nice little coffee to get me through this evening. Of course, I'm sure I won't need it once the session gets underway, or the race gets underway in just under an hour's time, guys. You ate early to give you your nap time. Yeah, I wish I had that earlier, but no such luck. No such luck with the 1-year-old. So, but all good though. But welcome everyone. Hope you are good. Hope you're ready for, of course, this race today. Welcome Taco. Yes, welcome the mods as always. Hopefully keeping the chat as clean as possible. Be nice, everyone. Be nice and respectful. That's what we ask for. So yes, Lando Norris starting on pole today with, of course, the 2 Ferraris behind him. What tyre is he going to start on? Ooh. Are we 100% sure on the race time? Yes, Troy, because I am literally got Sky TV next to me, and they always go live 1.5 hours before the race begins, and they went live at the right time. So, yes, the race is definitely on. If the race was to start an hour earlier, UK time, then it would have started already, because the clocks went back, not forwards. So, yeah, let me just double check for you all. It is definitely still 8 PM UK time that it starts. So under an hour. On the hour is when it next starts. Tell us it's Stuffey time. A whole hour to chat about conspiracies, this guy. I know, eh? Honestly, social media the past 24 hours has been wild. Absolutely wild. Yeah. Genuinely can't wait for today, Jordan. I'm excited. As I said, I'm normally really... I still have low expectations. I'm not going to lie to you. I still have low expectations for this race today in front of us because it is the Mexico Grand Prix. We have been here enough times now to know it isn't normally a banger. I don't think we've even had one single banger here at Mexico City. I hope we get that today. We've had moments, of course, but for the most part, it becomes a bit of a boring affair. But the way this season is going at the moment, and how it's kind of flipped on its head, and how it's flipped on its head here this weekend, especially, hopefully it's not the last time we will see. Hopefully we'll get our first banger. So Lewis will win today. We'll see. I still don't think the Ferraris are going to finish on the podium. I just don't. So you are able to post emojis, you are able to post caps, but you'll have a limit on how many of those you can post, of course, because we want to keep the chat as clean as possible and as a nice place to be, and of course bring new chatters in so that we can all enjoy and support obviously our drivers and sometimes have some friendly banter, of course. So. Do I need to ban the word sabotage? That's the question. Do I need to ban the word sabotage? Do I need to add that to the list of to the blacklisted words section for Nightbot today? That's the question. It's just the first turn, first lap's going to be exciting. Yes, it is indeed. P3 is the best starting position. Statistically, it is, and Lewis Hamilton is starting there. Maybe I might... Do you know what? I genuinely might do. That thought was only just come into my head, but I think I may actually ban it just for today. No, free speech. It's not so much obviously about the free speech element. It's about just people taking the mick and just coming in and spamming chat with ridiculous words. So, and I'm all for a conspiracy, as I said. But if you've watched the video that I posted, it is a bit. I think it is, yeah, just a bit ridiculous. People just need to just take a breather, take a step back, and now just get behind your boy. Like, he started 17th last year and he finished in P8. And this time around, he's starting where he finished. Well, obviously, he qualified P8, but signs as a 5th-place grid penalty, so he's starting 7th. Get behind him. He can still finish, potentially on the podium. He potentially could, so don't rule it out, guys. Don't rule it out. Right, just bear with me all. Bear with me. There we go. 1 or 2 stop today. I always predict it'll be a 1 stop, to be honest with you. We'll have a look at what the strategy options are for today. Something that is really interesting and something that has really miffed me off, and it's just a me issue, really. But it's relevant to how we do, obviously, our pre-race show, is that we have no tyre allocation information. I have nothing in relation from F1 themselves or on Pirelli's website or their Twitter that lets me know who has what tyres available to them in used or brand new. And that is really annoying. Really annoying. And it seems Pirelli, I suspect, this is a bit of a bugbear of mine, but I think Pirelli's Twitter page has a new social media admin. Because last week, there was new graphics, there was new posts, something out of the norm than what they normally post pre-race, and it's the same today as well. And I think they've got a new social media admin who's looking after their Twitter page and doing things differently, which is very frustrating. Just give her the tyre strats. That's all we want from you, Pirelli. And some decent tyres, of course, as well. So... not sure whether people have lost faith in Lewis. Man is the guy of F1. Why wouldn't he be able to pull it off? So I still don't... The reason why I don't think Charles or Lewis are going to pull off this race today is because McLaren are too good, especially Lando here this weekend, but also because of the management that I think they're still going to have to do throughout this race. I do not see them, with their issues of lift and coast and all the management issues that they've had previously, Lewis's brakes going in Singapore as well not too long ago. I don't see how they make it to the end of this race without significantly managing somehow. So we'll see if Verstappen is able to get the most out of that Red Bull. Interesting news on Verstappen is that he was still tinkering around with setups and different rear wing configurations on Saturday in FP3. I did not know that. It was information that I only found out yesterday after qualifying. And he has struggled with the balance of the car, and from what I saw from a quote from him is that they think they maybe went in the wrong direction with the setup, which is why the balance is off. So interesting to see whether that car will, what he'll be able to do today, because it does seem like that it's very rare for Max and Red Bull. They've gone in the wrong direction in relation to setup. So yes, F Taco for Verstappen, but never rule him out, of course. I mean, he has Russell ahead of him. Still a bit of an unknown, I think, the Mercedes and the Ferraris. Yeah, I still am not confident. As I've said all weekend, low expectations, guys. I'm still not confident on Ferrari not having to do some form of management throughout this race. Significant management, so. Too much oversteer, he said, in that setup was a struggle in an interview. Yeah, exactly, Dan. And as we know, sliding is the last thing that you want to do in this car, in an F1 car around here, because those temps get high, don't they? What are the chances of Lewis winning? Low, yeah. You've predicted any safety cars or red flags would be successful. I think we will see a safety car here. I still think there's going to be a Turn 1 incident. I do. Who is involved in it? I don't know. But I tell you what, Oscar Piastri is in the vortex of danger. He's 100% in the vortex of danger starting in P7. So, yeah. You can only focus on what you can control and obviously really kind of what's going on in front of you and around you. But, yeah, that's not a great place to start for Oscar Piastri. That is for sure. Neither is it for Max Verstappen as well in P5. If he was on the second row, you would say yes. But P5 on the third row, yeah, he may get a slipstream, but I think he's going to find his way blocked ahead of him. Unless everyone in front of him gets a really bogged down start. So, yeah, going to be a very interesting race with lots to play for here, of course. And then Norris. I mean, Norris did say, I just listened to an interview of his as well. He did say, he seems very confident. He said, because they asked him about the turn one, are you scared about those two Ferraris behind you down into turn one? And he went, no. He went, he basically admitted, If I lose the first place into turn one, I know I've got the race car to beat them. And it's like, oh, confident. And I think he has a reason to be from what we've seen thus far with the race pace and qualifying yesterday as well. So, who is the Destructors leader at the moment? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think I know maybe which car it is. I would suspect it's Colapinto's car with Jack Doohan. But I don't think it's either of those. But I mean, that car in itself has had quite a few crashes. Who else has had quite a few crashes? Hadjar has had a couple of crashes as well. Could Oscar Piastri maybe be towards the top with two big crashes? I'm trying to think. Speaking of Doohan, do I think he's done an F1? Yeah, unfortunately, chill. So there was a rumour. that... Kimi Antonelli maybe. Yeah, Kimi. Yuki maybe. But Yuki's had one big crash. That's it, isn't he? I think. So, yeah, I don't think anyone's really had like real big multiple crashes. But in relation to Jack Doohan, there was rumours that he would be maybe coming back for the last 3 races of the year because it's a triple header to end the season. Vegas, Qatar, and then we have Abu Dhabi. And apparently that's been squashed. He's not going to be returning for the last 3 races of the season. Colapinto will be remaining in that car and is most likely going to be in that car for next season unless something dramatic happens. But yeah, he's on a 5-year deal anyway and he's got a lot, obviously, backing in relation to sponsors and stuff. What happened to Albon the last few races? I don't know, Chile, to be honest. I expected Albon to do well here. But, yeah, he's been outperformed by Sainz. And I think he's just had... I mean, look, we know the Williams is quite peaky in relation to qualifying. When if they don't get that outlap correct and get those tyres in the right window, there's, like, no hope for them. I feel like Williams is kind of either Q3 or nothing. They're either in Q3 or they're towards the bottom of the grid. They don't really qualify in the midfield, do they? So, yeah, for Alex Albon, I expect him to make maybe some ground up today. I still think they've probably got a good race car, but yeah, his race pace has definitely been a lot better than his qualifying pace of recent. But we know how important qualifying is. You can't get away with poor qualifyings now, really, can you? Let the rookies have their laps, Joey. Yeah, in relation to Ollie Behrman's comment. I think it's a fair comment, to be fair. So Ollie Behrman did say, he goes, I don't think rookies should... So not rookies participate in FP1, but those who are in their rookie season, I don't think that they should end up giving up FP1 time to rookies. And I think it's a fair comment. I think you want rookies to have all the amount of practice possible. And I'm all for obviously giving those who... those other rookies an opportunity in FP1. But there's enough cars up and down the grid, really, where, yeah, people should get an opportunity. And also, as well, considering we now know, i.e. Ryo Hirakawa, that people pay a very heavy price for an FP1 session, how valuable really are those rookie sessions out in FP1? Because they're still able to be bought. 3 million is the rumoured amount, I think it was. I don't know which currency. Is that dollars, pounds, euros? even so, it is ridiculous. So, yeah, I think Ollie Behrman has a valid point in relation that I think if you are a rookie driver in your first year of F1, you shouldn't have to give up your seat for rookie drivers for those mandatory 2 sessions because, yeah, it could be at tracks. Obviously, everyone gets to pick, but I think it's, yeah, I agree with that. What do I think about Lindblad? I think from what I've seen, I think there's a lot to be excited about. But I also think that he probably could do with another year in F2. From what I've seen I think there's been just as many lows as there has been highs for him. And I feel like he just needs another year maybe just to tidy up his act. He looks quite messy, to be fair. He's had some very comical errors. Things that you'd expect to see in your midweek evening online racing, on iRacing. So, yeah, I think if he gets into F1 next season, fair play to him, but I think it's maybe just a year too early. But he does look like he's definitely highly rated, rightly so, highly rated by Red Bull. I mean, after Saudi, I think we all knew that Doohan would be botched, but Colapinto's pretty good, though. Yeah, and look, I think Colapinto has taken a while to get up to speed. That car and that team we know has had its issues. He joined halfway through the season. The last time he drove, well, obviously he got to drive an F1 car in a test at Monza in the Alpine, but he hasn't had the time in the car. He didn't have all the testing time in the car like Jack Doohan did. Jumped into that car, and we know these cars are very different to their predecessors. And I think it was, difficult for him. However, he has obviously had some glaring mistakes and issues. The number one thing that he should have done is just keep it on track, and he didn't in these first qualifying session back to F1. So he hasn't helped himself, but he is now starting to show that he can get his performance kind of up to Gasly. So, yeah, something that I think we kind of all knew. He's a quick driver, but he's also quite messy as well, as we just talked about in relation to Lindblad, because he crashed a lot last year, didn't he, in the last half of the season. Yeah, I agree with that, Dan, as well, in relation to the team orders with Colapinto and Gasly. It just didn't make sense. And also, like, Gasly was on considerably older tyres, so it wasn't like they was on the same age tyre. Colapinto was on much younger tyres, so he had considerably more grip. And I can only imagine how frustrating it is for him to be told to stay behind Gasly when, yes, they're fighting for nothing. They were fighting for 17th position at the time, or 16th position. Just let him overtake. Just let Gasly move out of the way of him. Don't tell him to hold position, because he's naturally going to be quicker anyway, because he's got more grip out of the corner. He can still manage and bring the cars home as they wanted to, but yeah. Right, we have reconnaissance laps. Hey Lee, good to see you, mates. You've been for a 4-mile walk past out in bed. Oh my goodness. Hopefully it's a good one for you. Hopefully it's a good one for me. 42 minutes to go. What are my intuitions saying? So, my predictions. I'm sticking with what I said. I'm not sticking with what I said at the start of the week. My prediction was that Max was going to win and Lando was going to be second with Oscar third. How wrong I was. Could still happen, but I don't suspect it will because of what we have seen throughout this weekend. That's the beauty of predictions. But I do suspect that the Ferraris will not finish on the podium. Sorry, Tifosi. I think Norris will win this race, even if the Ferraris get ahead of him into the first corner. Of course, this is if there is a clean start and there's no carnage and no one's caught up in anything. I think Max will get P2 still. And I think George will finish P3. I'm going Norris first, Max second, George third. And unfortunately for Ferrari, I just think they're going to have management issues this race. I am here to be pleasantly surprised. A key to a happy life and a key to being a happy Ferrari fan is low expectations. Are evens on the pit lane side of the start straight for starts? Yes. So I think... No. Pole position here starts on the grippier side of the racetrack. So... you are right. So odds start on the racing line, the grippier side of the racetrack, and the evens start on the inside line closest to the pit wall on the technically dirtier side of the racetrack. What team do I think nailed their setup this weekend in practice and quali? I think it's difficult. I think really that the team as a whole who nailed their setup in practice and quali is Ferrari. McLaren have done it on one side of the garage, Lando Norris, but Piastri, I think, has probably done something in relation to his setup that hasn't suited him. Combined, obviously, with his issues here in the past. If you watched the lap yesterday, any comparison, if you saw Oscar Piastri's lap and Lando's lap, the way Lando attacks the curbs, particularly through the first couple of corners compared to Piastri, is obscene. Piastri, a lot tentative through there, and loses easily over 2 tenths in that first sector alone from his teammate, and that's just through attacking the curbs. So, yeah, Lando definitely picked a setup that has given him some balance, and there's been a lot of talk, of course, about how Piastri does fare a lot more difficult on low grip surfaces compared to Lando Norris, and yeah, that's why Piastri has obviously didn't do well here last year, and he's struggling here again. But I think Norris has definitely nailed the setup better than anyone, but Ferrari have also done a very good job at that. I think Mercedes are a good shout as well. They've also done well. Antonelli up there in P6 and George in P4. No one's really No one's really spoken about the Mercedes here this weekend. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. I think everyone else, I don't think anyone else has, I would say, has really nailed the setup. So this season has a good push from our normally back of the grid teams. Haas with Behrman has been doing a lot better. Yeah, he has been recently. Esteban Ocon's up there as well for the first time in quite some time in qualifying compared to his teammate. So good quality there for Ocon. Haas may be thinking about scoring some points here today. Damn, tyres are going to melt today. Oh my goodness, I just saw that. 53-degree temperature. Oh my word. That is the hottest we have seen all weekend. So I'm just going to move that there. Why have I not got... Why is my race control messages so... I'm going to move that in a bit, because then maybe I can make that wider a little bit. But, oh my goodness, yeah, 53. I mean, it is cooling just a little bit. It's come down from 53.1 to 52.8, but that is hot. So yeah, that is not good. Two-stop, I think. Two-stop race, most likely. We will have a look at the strategies, of course, once they've done their sighting laps. As Hadjar reports, he needs to change helmet as he's not happy with his the amount of air coming through it. 53, most hotter than most girls I've ever met. Can Oscar finish ahead of the Ferraris? I think he may. I mean, maybe. The McLaren does have good race pace, but in Norris's hands, not so much maybe in Piastri's. So that's the key here, is that there is a good car there, and yeah, I think Piastri has maybe just gone the wrong way this weekend. Of course, with the struggles with his own driving style as well. But we will see. Would they postpone a race if the track is too hot? I mean, we've never got to that position. Max Verstappen is reporting the drink keeps leaking. I have to chew on the tube. It's crazy. But I don't think we've ever got to the point where it has got that hot for the race to be postponed. But there's a first time for everything, I guess. Not here, though. Not here today. It's hotter than your nacho sauce, yeah. Ferrari does good in free practice, but didn't expect them to do so good in quali. But I don't know what happened to Oscar in quali. But yeah, he was poor the whole weekend. Yeah, he just struggles here with this circuit, with his driving style. We know that. Look, some drivers have their all drivers have their strengths and weaknesses. They have tracks that they prefer over others for many a reason. And this is one that, notoriously, in his third season, Oscar Piastri, he doesn't fare well at. So while he has massively improved as a driver, and he has developed massively, as he wouldn't have done if he wasn't, I mean, he wouldn't be leading the World Championship if he hadn't have done. There are still going to be some poor race weekends, especially in a 24-race weekend season. As I mentioned earlier on in the season, there's a very long way to go. And this season is all about consistency. And that's what Piastri, for the most part, until kind of this little swing, bad run that he's in, up until Baku, had done very well at. He had been so consistent. His worst race performance was the first race of the year. His worst qualifying performance was 4th. And then, of course, Baku turned up, and it's been on a downward spiral since then. So, yeah, he can still score points here today. He wants the limits. It's 14 points. So if Piastri finishes 5th today and Lando finishes 1st, Lando will take the lead of the championship by 1 point. We'll keep you up to date on the championship standings. Let's have a look at those right now, shall we? Because I'll keep them to the side of me. And, well, you can see here that at the moment, the gap, Oscar Piastri, 346 points to Lando Norris, 332. Max Verstappen 40 points behind. He would also be gaining some points on Oscar Piastri after this race if they finish where they are, but not by a lot. But yeah, Lando would definitely take the championship lead. George Russell is still the only other driver mathematically in it outside the top 3, but he is a good near 100 points back from Oscar Piastri there. So realistically, he is out of this championship, but we'll keep you up to date on that. And of course, the Constructors' Championship at the moment is getting closer. 3-4-1 between Mercedes to Ferrari, who are 7 points back in P3. And then Red Bull Racing are 10 points back. So the Constructors' Championship today could completely flip on its head as well, depending on how things go. So that is the current state of affairs there in the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. No Ferrari shirt today. No Ferrari shirt. Hard tyres allowed, but they are rubbish. Yes, indeed, Darius. So we'll have a look at the strategy options in a moment as drivers are now making their way to the grid. Nothing to really be, nothing really to take note of here in the reconnaissance laps. Doesn't seem like there's any issues other than kind of a water leak for Max Verstappen and too much air going into Isaac Hadjar's helmet. So you can see there the pink dots on your screen are the DRS detection zones, guys. So they are relevant for race day. And that is where drivers need to be within 1 second when they cross that line, or that pink dot there, to get DRS. Of course, we have 3 DRS zones here. And what is interesting, and it is very interesting, is that the first 2 DRS zones are double DRS. So that is intriguing. We have seen at the likes of, say, Bahrain, where the DRS, we don't get double DRS. It is 2 separate DRS detection zones there. Of course, there are actually 3 DRS zones at Bahrain. But those sort of tracks where we used to see a double DRS zone here at Mexico, that has remained. So there should arguably be a second DRS zone down out of the exit maybe, or through turn 1, at the end of turn 1, shall we say. But that might make things a bit more interesting because we do see overtakes down into turn 4. So, yeah, someone will get 2 bites of the pie, shall we say, when they are trying to go for an overtake down into turn 1 and turn 4. We're worried about the tyres, but what about the engine, the brakes? Yes, there is going to be some form of management that I think every team will have to do here today. McLaren will have to do it, Ferrari most definitely, Red Bull. I mean, I think everyone has now used all of their engine allocations. No one has a brand new engine available to them within their limit. If they do take a new one, it would mean that they would get a 10-place grid penalty at the next event. So, yes, they will be wanting to make these engines last. And, of course, there is a lot of stress put on the engines here with 20% less air density than that at other race circuits. So that is why you see the big cooling vents and louvers on these cars. And what has been interesting is that McLaren have the smallest cooling on the side of their car out of everyone there. So that has gained them some performance. And maybe that is what has massively helped them in the form of Norris. How many laps today? 71 laps today, as you can see at the top left-hand corner of your screen. So it does seem like every driver has made their way round to their grid slots. Only Kimi Antonelli is to remain as he makes his way through Sector 2. So nothing to really make note of there. No shenanigans, other than a water leak issue for Max Verstappen with his drinks machine or drinks pipe, whatever it was, which they will no doubt get fixed on the grid. So let's head into our strategy options for today. And I am going to double check myself, and please tell me we get the tyre allocations. Have we had those yet? No. We have no tyre allocations available. No, yes, we got them. I've got them. I found them. Haha. I found them. but it wasn't from... I think maybe this has been set up by someone differently, but it's not the normal thing. But anyway, right, let me just get set up for our tyre strategy options for today. Right. Here we go. So, as you can see, guys, as you can see, the primary strategy options are one-stops. Damn it! Damn it! But the track temperature is a lot higher than we were expecting. So, yeah, strategy 1 is a one-stop, starting on a medium, going to a soft. That is a very long way into this race, 42 to 48 laps. About 2/3 of the way into this race onto the mediums before you then switch to the soft. Strategy 2 is one that I'm surprised they've even presented here today, which is the medium to hard compound tyre. We know that the hard compound tyre is 2 steps harder than that of the medium compound tyre. It's the C2, not the C3. So we have the C2, C4 and C5 here today, hard, medium and soft. Strategy 3 is starting on the softs, then going to the mediums. I think we're going to see a lot of the front runners use that strategy personally, strategy number 3, because they will want that extra grip at the start. They know how important the first lap is here, particularly down into turn 1. They all want that launch off the line, and I think particularly the front 3, Lando, Leclerc and Hamilton will be starting on that tyre. Strategy number 4 is the soft to hard. As I said, don't think the hard's a viable choice. And strategy number 5... we may see strategy number 5. We may still see a 2-stop here, guys. Do not rule it out, because that track temperature is very high. It's upwards. It's around 50 degrees, and yeah, I think we may. I think there is still an opportunity for that 2-stop to happen. We have seen a 2-stop here in the past, so don't rule it out. And I'm surprised there isn't more. I'm surprised, to be fair, they haven't suggested more 2-stop strategies, to be honest with you. Or maybe that is the only viable 2-stop strategy, the soft, medium, soft. Or maybe there's soft, soft, medium. I don't know. But yeah, don't rule out strategy number 5. That is for sure. If one was to take a grid penalty, what would be a good track to do so at this point in the season? So I believe in Interlagos, with the sprint race that is upcoming, if you take a brand new engine, you can take that grid place penalty in the sprint race. I don't think that rule's changed where it carries over into the main race. I could be wrong. So that would be a good place to take it. So top 5 will go on soft. Yeah, a minimum top 5 will start on soft. Definitely. Maybe Oscar Piastri does something different and goes long on the mediums. Maybe banks on a safety car. I mean, if I'm Oscar Piastri, I'd probably do that. I'd probably start on the mediums, and I try and ensure that I can go longer than everyone else. Yes, maybe you benefit from a red flag, safety car, cheaper pit stop, and we'll have a look at those pit stops in a moment. So this is the... we don't have our normal graphic when it comes to the tyre allocations of who has what available to them, but this is what we have here. And, well, you can see that everyone... really, all the big boys have one brand new set of mediums available to them. So you can see Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Russell, Antonelli all have a brand new set of mediums available to them. Understandable. They only have one set of mediums available by the looks of it. They don't have any used tyres. I suspected they would have used, but maybe not. Softs. Piastri has no brand new softs available to him. He has 4 used softs. Lando Norris has interestingly, compared to Leclerc and Hamilton, Norris has a brand new set. Leclerc has a brand new set. Hamilton and Verstappen do not have a brand new set of softs. Neither does Russell or Antonelli. That's intriguing. So the 2 on the front row have brand new softs available to them. That's going to be an interesting run down into turn 1, isn't it? With that extra grip that they have available to them. So yes, they only have one brand new set of hards available. They all used one at least in practice, but as we've touched on, the C2 tyre isn't going to be a viable tyre here today. I'll be very surprised if anyone uses it. If a driver misses a pit stop window, it's not the end of the world. A pit stop window is a predicted window that we expect drivers to make a pit stop. It may be that that pit stop window is forever moving. It could be brought short earlier, it could be pushed later, depending on how the race is unfolding. So a pit stop window is just an X amount, is like a gap of an amount of laps where we expect drivers to pit. But that window always is forever moving throughout the race. How some drivers have 5 soft tyres and some only 4. So that means that they've used a set in practice. So they all get the same allocation of tyres, the same amount of tyres per compound at the start of the weekend. And it's up to them how they utilise them in practice. So someone could go out and use all of their mediums in practice if they wanted to, and only leave themselves with hards. That's entirely their prerogative, or likewise the softs. But of course, you'd be very stupid to do so. So yeah, that is all prepared and thought about before the weekend and throughout the weekend as well, in relation to how much data they want to gather and obviously preferred strategy on the Sunday, coming into the Sunday, and that can change as the weekend evolves and the data that you gather and obviously what the drivers discover out on track. Expectation of degradation tyre lifetime. Yep, we will get to that. So that is your tyre allocations there. As we move on to the tyre offset here, gap to softs. So the medium in particular, they reckon is going to be 0.25, so a quarter of a second slower than that of the soft. And the hard tyre, you can see there, is nearly a full second slower than that of the soft, and 0.75 almost 0.75 slower. So what you're talking there, 0.65 slower than that of the medium. That is why the hard compound tyre is the C2, to try and push the drivers away and the teams away from using that hard, so that it is a very boring one stop. Realistically, the hard tyre can probably go a whole race distance. However, the reason it's not used is because it's not going to be used is because it's too slow and very difficult to get going. The hards are pointless. They are indeed. They are indeed, Mike. To be honest with you, they are indeed. Thank you, Blob. Much appreciated. So, in relation to the tyre offsets, the tyre degradation. In relation to the tyre degradation, the soft will fall off at nearly a tenth per lap. Oof, that's a lot. A tenth per lap. The mediums will be 0.06, and then the hards 0.02 there. So, yes, the softs, especially at these. So it's not really, as we've mentioned, it's not actually the physical degradation of the tyre that's an issue here at Mexico. It is the thermal degradation. As there's more sliding of the tyre because it's a low grip surface, what we see is that the temperature of the tyres get higher, and that's where we see blistering. And that's where then the rubber starts to lose grip, and that's what we will see here today. That's why McLaren really has been much better than everyone else, is because they've been able to keep those tyre temperatures under much more control, particularly in Lando Norris's hands, and that's where Piastri really has struggled more. If there's an early safety car, you can pit to hards and go to the end of the lap, as the tyre deck isn't great in softs. Yes, but it's so slow. It is so slow. It's probably still beneficial to do a 2-stop over taking the hard to the end of the race. So, Lewis does not have a brand new set of softs available to him. No, he does not. So moving on to the pit lane stop loss time. You can see there that green flag conditions is 21.9 seconds. It's very, very similar pit lane length to Circuit of the Americas and pit stop loss time back at the United States. So nearly a 10-second advantage if you're able to pit under safety car VSC conditions. And we have had nearly 50%, 43% chance of a safety car in the last 7 races here. VSC, 70%. Wow. Nearly 75% there, VSC. That is always because we get some form of contact in the first couple of laps, with it being obviously very close between these very large F1 cars. Red flag, 14% of the time. We have seen in the last few seasons some big crashes down into turn 1. That is my prediction for today, is that we will see another one. And, well, it is hot out there in Mexico City. 0% chance of rain. We have seen rain fall here in the past at this circuit, but there is not going to be any today. Engine blow up, big chance. We do see a lot of retirements here. We do. Mechanical issues. We don't see a lot throughout an F1 season anymore, but this is one circuit where you do see it. Leclerc is going to mess up his start and mess up Lewis. We'll see, Jack. Not long to find out. The race starts. Look at the race start counter. Top right-hand corner of your screen. And then race pace. Well, unsurprisingly, it is McLaren, the team to beat. A tenth quicker on average, quicker than Red Bull. Mercedes, 3 tenths quicker. Ferrari, 3.5 tenths quicker. And that's the key here for Ferraris. While, of course, they've got a good car to stick it in P2 and P3, which is something I still didn't expect they'd be able to do. Supposedly, their race pace is 4th best. So, going to be interesting today in relation to how the Ferraris are going to get on. And then moving down the grid, you can see, Alpine, slowest as always, and it's quite close between Williams, Kick Sauber, Aston Martin and Haas. It seems Racing Bulls do have that advantage there in the race pace, so we'll see if they're able to convert it. Do I know why Kimi was late in the grid formation? I don't know that, actually. No. So... and that is it, guys. That is it for the strategy corner for today, really. Not much else to discuss. Strategy options, you can see back there. It is looking like it's going to be a one-stop. I do suspect that a lot in the top 10 will start on the soft compound tyre. So that strategy number 3 is probably the one that I think most will be aiming for. Similar to, kind of the opposite to what we saw at Circuit of the Americas, where most started on the mediums. But I think because of the very long run down into Turn 1, I think, is it the longest run into Turn 1 on the season? It's very close to Barcelona, that's for sure. Barcelona and Mexico City are very close, and we've seen, of course, how things can happen in Barcelona. It is the longest on the calendar. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, very long run down into Turn 1. And Lewis Hamilton has said, he goes, I'm going to get racy. He goes... Lando's got a lot more to lose than me. So, yeah. Fitness track is just longer. I think it's shorter, but the start-finish straight is overall longer, isn't it? It's close, though. It's close. Watching from the Dominican Republic. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, welcome, everyone, from around the world. Rev, good to see you, mate. 1:30 a.m. for the race. Yeah, appreciate everyone for tuning in. Of course, today is going to be very, very important in relation to the overall championship standings. Will Oscar Piastri come out at the end of this 71-lap race here at Mexico City still in the championship lead, or will he find himself for the first time in 15 rounds, I think it is, the first time in 15 rounds, will he find himself with only 4 race weekends remaining, not in the lead and then becoming the chaser? Very, very interesting race ahead of us very interesting race ahead of us. Hopefully the race is interesting because, as I mentioned before, it can be a bit of a damp squib and be a bit boring. But hopefully, yeah, we do see some action. We'd love to see Lewis get racy and not allow Verstappen to pass him at T1 and stand his ground with a normal result. Well, Lewis is still fighting for something himself as well. He's fighting for his first ever podium position in a full Grand Prix. Of course, he got that sprint race win, but he didn't get to stand on the podium. He's looking to have his first ever podium with Ferrari. So he'd love to be able to achieve that today. So he is going to get punchy with not only Lando Norris, if he has an opportunity, but with his own teammate as well. So, yeah, we'll see. And it looks like the Ferrari does seem to be in a good place. A much better place than I expected them to be heading into this weekend. Start line to turn 1 is 830 metres, the longest in F1. Wow. Yeah, that is a very long run down into turn 1. Don't know how Cadillac is going to do, although it'll be easier as they are starting with new regs. Yeah, in relation to Cadillac, no one knows. It's all engine dependent, really. They're using the Ferrari engine for next year. So, yeah, that is the tyre that's the tyre strategy for today, guys. I do expect it will be... I don't rule out the two-stop. I think the two-stop may be used here today. And then if we have a look at the tyre allocations... Sorry, it's not even on there, is it? The tyre allocations are here. You can see, yeah, Lewis Hamilton has no brand new tyres available. Neither does Max Verstappen. Only Leclerc and Norris in those big boys in the top 7 have the soft tyre, a brand new soft available to them. Thank you, Blood. Much appreciated. Feeling that Lando will have a slow start and the two Ferraris will lead. Then Max, Lando and Oscar and George in 6th by the end of the lap. Oof. Well, not long to find out. 15 minutes until we find out who will be leading down after turn 1. It's not who's leading into turn 1. It's who's leads out of turn 1, isn't it, really? Or out of turn 3. That's the factor. And even if they all get through turn 1 squeaky clean, We have seen many an incident before down into turn 4. So, yeah, don't rule out the incidents not carrying on down into the next corner, because there is a bit of a sharp run, of course, and still a slipstream and an overtake to be had there. As we saw last year, Lando Norris go around the outside of Max Verstappen, and then we know what happened from then on in the next couple of corners. So, what do I think are in those cans of Red Bull cans that they give Max and Yuki before the race? A lot of the time it's water. But apparently Max does drink a lot of Red Bull. I think Liam Lawson and Sergio, I think lots of people have said, anyone who's kind of close to Max, especially like the drivers, they say they've never seen someone drink so much Red Bull. Of course, I imagine it's the zero sugar ones. But yeah, they do have water in them as well. They have basically what they want in them, let's be honest. It's there for the branding, isn't it? So he might just be drinking water all the time. Where do I get these informations from, Stephen? So if you are logged into F1, you can get this information from F1 on the F1 website. And Pirelli Motorsport as well do all say on Twitter, they do normally provide some information and some graphics. But as I mentioned, this is their graphic for today. Why are you asking us what the go-to tyre strategy is? Tell us what the go-to tyre strategies are. Give us this information, which you normally do. Stupid social admin or news social admin for Pirelli Motorsport, but normally they're really good for it. So yeah, that's who I recommend to go and follow. But for the last couple of races, they haven't provided that information, so that's where you can find it. Right, let's get back set up. Just getting all the data ready again, guys. Right, so here we go. Right, here we go. I think we're good to go. I think we're ready to rock and roll, guys. I think we're ready to rock and roll. Not long to go. Move that back down there. Yeah, just 12 minutes. Just 12 minutes now until the Mexico Grand Prix gets underway. Ooh. Right, there we go. 0% chance of rain confirmed. Track temperature is a lot hotter than it has been all weekend. 52.8 degrees up there. So, yeah, going to be interesting. Who is going to lead at the start? You're feeling delusional for both Ferraris? Well, let's have a look at the poll for the win today. And, well, get your votes in, guys. I will be closing it shortly because I'm going to run another one. Lando Norris, 31%. More of you have faith in Max Verstappen will still win this race today, starting from P5, than that of Lando Norris, who starts in P1. Charles Leclerc, 13%, and Lewis Hamilton is 21%. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm surprised lots of you have that much faith in Max Verstappen, but fair play. Does the FIA do anything to cooperate with F1 YouTubers and podcasts? Any reaching out? No, not really, Stephen. No, not really. Ferrari victory, Quicko. I think something special needs to happen for Ferrari to win this race today. I really do. I still have not a lot of hope in their tyre management. Not their tyre management, sorry, their overall management of the car. I think that's. I think we're going to hear the nasty words "Lyco" very soon in this race for them, unfortunately, depending on obviously where they are. But yeah, Ferrari will win or the car will fall apart. First corner's going to be epic. I know. Everyone, get your votes in, guys. So, over 3,000 votes now. I'm going to end the poll. And, well, that does surprise me. Max Verstappen, just a favourite. 35% of him, 35% of you think he is going to win this race. So, I'm going to start another poll. And I want your votes. Hang on. There we go. Where does Piastri finish? And I realistically haven't included him on the podium. He may finish on the podium, but I think he's starting in the vortex of danger. So a DNF is highly possible. Very highly possible if he gets caught up in any carnage at the start of the race. Outside the top 10. Top 10 or the top 5? Let me know. When Max qualifies middle of the top 10, he tends to fall backwards. He has difficulty accepting when he's not fast enough. Well, we'll see. We will see. You read for Piastri as Ferrari should put in. So, 46% of you think top 5. He is only starting P7, of course. Top 10, 37% of you think he's going to finish in the top 10. Outside the top 10, 6%. DNF, 11%. I've got another vote, actually, that I'll run just before in the last 5 minutes. So get your votes in there, guys. I do have one more vote for Oscar Piastri, but I think, actually, is a bit more prudent. I want to see Piastri top 5 to keep the competition going. Well, the competition will still be going, even if he doesn't finish outside the top 5. Of course. It just means that he will lose the championship lead. If, of course, this is all based upon if Lando wins the race. There's no guarantee, of course, Lando will win the race. How many laps before a Ferrari do loco? We did do a poll on that the other day, and I think the consensus was less than 20 laps. Is the consensus that Ferrari will be asked to do some form of loco in this race. So. But welcome, everyone. Welcome for tuning in. Hope you are well. 8 minutes until the formation lap gets underway. Get your votes in relation to where do you think Oscar Piastri will finish. Maybe I'm doing him a disservice here in relation to where he will finish. Maybe he will finish on the podium. Maybe we'll see something that completely puts to bed all of the concerns that people have had over this weekend in relation to Piastri's performance. Maybe there'll be something that just opens the pathway to him to getting a decent result here today, as we have seen in the past. Maybe he'll be the beneficiary of a crash rather than being involved in it like he was in the sprint race at Circuit of the Americas. Everyone grabbing drinks time. We need to stay hydrated. Yes, and I'm going to do exactly that right now, guys. Before the tyre blankets are whipped off of those F1 cars, I suggest you guys to go do the same because we have 71 laps in front of us. It could be a long one today, and, well, it's definitely going to be interesting in relation to the overall championship standings. So, quick lube break for myself and a top-up of my well-needed lubricates the vocal cords. So I highly suggest you guys do the same, and we'll be back in a jiffy. Just put the keyboard over there. Is everyone ready? Is everyone ready? 5.5 minutes. I've got my water. I've had my lemon and honey. The vocal cords are ready. The bladder is empty. And I am ready to go. I hope you are too. Hope you are too. Have I had any experience sim racing, lift and coast? I have. Not in relation to management of anything, really, though. The only thing that you manage when you do lift and coast in sim racing, it is more so for fuel saving. So that's really, in relation to the tyres, yeah, it does have a small effect on cooling the tyres if you lift and coast in sim racing, but it's mainly for fuel saving. Here we go! Tyre blankets off, and as predicted, the top 4 are on the softs, but Max Verstappen is going different. He's going against the grain. He's starting on the mediums. Interesting. Interesting, guys. Max Verstappen starting on the mediums. He's going to try and go a bit longer than that of the McLaren of Lando Norris up front, Charles Leclerc in P2, Hamilton in P3 and Russell in P4. So the top 4, all those starting on the front on the first 2 rows are on the softs. Very interesting. Piastri is also on the softs, so I'm surprised Oscar Piastri is starting on a set of used softs as well. I thought he would maybe start on the mediums, try and go a bit longer. So that's we'll see how that plays out for him. Isaac Hadjar on the mediums as well. Sonoda, Sainz, Bortoletto. We actually have 2 drivers on the hards. I really don't know how to feel about that. Codapinto is in P20, so I guess what have you got to lose? And similarly, I guess for Albon as well in P17. A track that is difficult to overtake on. So maybe that's a 200 IQ move. And we look back at this moment at the start of the race, and yeah, we go, well done, Alpine and Alex Albon. But yeah, I can't imagine that tyre's going to work that much. So I'm ending the poll of where does Oscar Piastri finish? And, well, 46% of you think he's going to finish in the top 5. 32% of you think in the top 10. More of you think he's going to DNF than just finish outside the top 10. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm surprised anyone's using hard. Same here. So, undercut game. Yeah, overcut game for Verstappen. The overcut. So, on the mediums, he's most likely going to go longer. And he will end up hoping for some clean air. And then he'll be on, hopefully, the quicker tyre at the end of the race. That's his premise. So, yeah. Starting on the 3rd row, realistically, it is, as we've already mentioned, it is a bit tricky in relation to getting a decent start and trying to gain many positions. If he was on the 2nd row, I think he would also start on the softs because we have seen P4. Max has even done it himself, starting from P4 and end up in the lead at the end of the first corner, or at least gain a couple of positions. But I think in P5, it's a tall order to try and get up there, really, because you just find yourself roadblocked by cars ahead. So, yeah, well, that's interesting from Max. That's an interesting strategy. I didn't expect that. And I didn't expect the softs from Piastri. So we'll see how, not want to find out and see how it plays out for them. Lewis said, I have nothing to lose, but Lando does. Yes, Lewis is going to be aggressive, that is for sure. But Hamilton and Russell on the 2nd row are starting on used softs. So for Charles and Norris, that could benefit them. They will get, you suspect, a better launch than those behind who are on used tyres, whereas Norris and Leclerc are on brand new tyres. Which thermodynamic could explode into intra-team drama this weekend? Oh, who knows? My last poll, and I'll do it quickly. My last poll, here we go, is going to be... I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to run a poll. Just let me know in the chat. Yes or no. Yay or nay. Will Piastri still lead the championship after today's race? Yes or no? In the chat right now, as we have 1 minute remaining until the formation lap gets underway. Yes or no? Oh, there's a lot more no's than there are yeses. There's a few more yeses coming in. There's a few more yeses. I'm going to say no has edged it. I think looking at it, I think no has just edged it. It's close. Let's put it this way. If Lando wins the race, all Oscar needs to do to retain the lead in the championship is finish in P4. That's all he needs. So it's going to be a close one. He is only in P7, so he only needs a couple of positions. Well, he needs 3 positions. He needs to finish in the top 4 to still retain the championship lead. But moments away here, Oh, I'm going to do something just quickly, guys. I'm going to just reset the server so that we don't have the issue that we had previously last week with the lag. So bear with me. I have everything available. but I just wanted to do that before the race gets underway so that we have, hopefully, no issues in relation to the servers and lag, because we had that last time around, and evening races are normally a lot more popular when it comes to that. So we should hopefully now get no lag, fingers crossed, or get any lag at all. Let me just bring up race control messages for you, and we can stick that up here. Here we go. And then I'm also going to get up the championship predictions, which can stay over here. There we go. Ready to go. Ready to go. Ready to rock and roll, guys. Ready to rock and roll. Hope you are well. Hope you are ready for this race. Not long to go here. So let's have a rundown of this starting grid, shall we? Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Hit that like button. Get this stream to 1,000 likes before we begin. But Lando Norris is on pole position for the Mexico City Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc lines up alongside him on brand new softs. Aggressive start for the front row. We know how Leclerc fared against Norris last time in the US Grand Prix on those softs, but last time around, Norris was on the mediums. This time they're like for like. Lewis Hamilton is in P3, a very, very successful position at the start of this race and at this racetrack, starting in P3 with the longest run down into turn 1 on the calendar today in front of us. George Russell also starts on the softs as well. Max Verstappen in P5 is on the mediums, a fresh set, difference in strategy for Max Verstappen. We'll see how that plays out for him today, being on the alternate strategy. Kimi Antonelli is P6, Piastri is P7. See how he fares today. Can he maintain his championship lead after this race weekend? Hadjar is in P8, Behrman is in P9 with Yuki Tsunoda in P10. Esteban Ocon is 11th with Carlos Sainz in 12th. Nico Hulkenberg is 13th. Fernando Alonso is 14th. Liam Lawson is 15th. Bortoleto is 16th. We have 2 drivers on the hard compound tyre here this weekend, a tyre that I did not expect to see in the race today. Albon is started on that hard. Gasly is on the medium. Stroll is on the softs. And Colapinto is that second driver at the back of the grid, starting on the hard compound tyre. Thank you for everyone for tuning in and choosing this watch along for your viewing experience today. We are moments away from this race getting underway. Who is going to lead down into turn 1? Will we see a yellow flag? Will we see a safety car? Or even maybe an early stoppage in this race? We have seen it before. Oh, this run down to turn 1 is arguably the most important in Lando Norris's season, and we still have 4 more race weekends to go. Can he win this race today? He has been the most dominant driver here this weekend. It's now time for him to convert it. Colapinto pulls up to the back of the grid. Lights out, away we go! Who is going to lead down into turn 1? Lando Norris seems to have got a decent start there. He's already 3 attempts ahead of Charles Leclerc, but it's slipstream galore down into the first corner. They're gaining. Hamilton's ahead of Charles Leclerc, but will he maintain it down through the first corner? And well, Lando Norris, I think, has come out second best maybe to Max Verstappen. There's contact! Max is falling through the field! No, he's in P3! The data is losing control here. I have no idea who's in first. Charles Leclerc was in first, but then Leclerc has lost it to Norris back into P4. One thing is for sure, though, is that Oscar Piastri is down 4 places into 10th. No, he's back up into 10th now. It's only 3 places, but wow, changes of position galore there. The timing screen doesn't know where it's coming or going as Lance Stroll is around. As I'm watching the start of this replay of this race start again, it was a brilliant start from Lando Norris, but Charles Leclerc swept around. Max Verstappen made it 4 wide into turn 1. The madman. That's why the timing tower just went crazy, because Max Verstappen went through the grass. He had an unbelievable start on the medium compound tyre, made it 4 wide, but had to take avoiding action. Charles Leclerc had to take through the grass, and that's why he gave the position back to his teammate. Back to Lando Norris. Unbelievable scenes at the start of this race as we head down to the first corner for the second time here. Lando Norris is P1 with Charles Leclerc P2. Lewis Hamilton P3 with Max Verstappen up into P4 on the medium compound tyre. George Russell is P5 with Ollie Behrman up 3 places into P6. Kimi Antonelli is down a place into P7 with Tsunoda in P8. Piastri is down 2 places right now. A terrible start for Oscar Piastri as DRS is now enabled. He is down in P9. Esteban Ocon is in P10 with Hadjar in P11. He's down 3 places as well. Bortoletto has gained 3 positions there. Sainz is where he started. Lawson is up a place as Gasly's had a tremendous start there, but Nico Hulkenberg lost 4 places and Stroll and Colapinto are still at the back. But wow, unbelievable start from flying Mad Max, you could say, because he took that 4 wide and, well, he ran out of racing room and he had to take to the grass. But Lando Norris has navigated turn 1, lap 1 incident noted. Not entirely sure who that is for. Unbelievable scenes here at the start of this race. But yes, Lando Norris has done the job. He's got the race started. As Russell does state, Verstappen just cut the corner, brake late and cut the grass. At least a position... At least give the position back. So that's what George Russell is stating, but Max needs to give the position back. But unbelievable race start, as we so often see from Max Verstappen on the mediums as well, whereas everyone was on the softs. They were 4 wide. We had Lando, Charles, Hamilton and Verstappen 4 abreast into the braking zone of turn 1. How they've all made it through there unscathed is tremendous, as Liam Lawson has made it to the pit lane. He seems to have some damage, so a very early pit stop for Liam Lawson there, as Pierre Gasly gets overtaken by Nico Hulkenberg. But the gap to Lando Norris now, importantly for him, is 1.3 seconds to Charles Leclerc. He has broken the DRS there, as everyone predominantly has DRS, as Oscar Piastri set the fastest first sector out of anyone, but finds himself started. There's a yellow flag through the first sector. And what has happened here? There is no one out there. Is this due to debris out there on circuit? And it's a double yellow through turn 1, 2 and 3. What has occurred there? It looks like there's Liam Lawson has taken a brand new front wing, so I imagine there's maybe some debris right on the racing line there. Of course, we do see drivers go 2 abreast through that corner, but at the moment, it seems like that we will continue racing. Is there going to be a VSC? It is a double yellow. It means that they will not be able to overtake, and yes, it has been cleared, so no doubt the marshals have got out on track and removed any debris that was out there. But wow, Lando already up into 2 seconds ahead, nearly 2 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. He is in P2. Lewis Hamilton is P3 with Verstappen in P4 on the medium compound tyre. I'm yet to see a replay of the race start. We will see as George Russell is on the radio. I mean, it's ridiculous. The guys can just cut the grass and keep position. No penalty, no nothing. However, George, I will admit, Max was ahead of you into the braking zone. He had completely launched past you and got it 4 wide into that corner. That's why the timing tower did not know where anyone was out there on track, and fair play that we had no lag at all and no delay in the data being translated to us there, or transferred to us, because that was crazy at the start of this race. Job number 1, though, done for Lando Norris, as he is on the 4th lap of this Mexico City Grand Prix, 1.8 seconds ahead of Charles. He set 3 tenths quicker last time around, or 2 tenths quicker than that of Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton starting to lose the DRS of his teammate there, with Max Verstappen on the rear wing of Lewis. Lewis now has it all to do here to try and secure a podium today. He's on a set of used softs as well, compared to Verstappen, who was on fresh mediums, and of course Norris and Leclerc are on fresh softs as well. But still, a great start from them to get an opportunity to try and overtake into the first corner. I'm still yet to see kind of the positioning of where the cars were at the start of this race, because Charles did have to cut the chicane and give the position back to Lando down into turn 4. But as we run through the grid, Verstappen P4, he is still half a second behind Lewis Hamilton, as Hamilton has now lost the DRS of his teammate. That is not going to help his chances here to retain this P3. You do suspect that it will be just a matter of time until Verstappen is able to get past that of the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton. George Russell is still complaining on the radio about Verstappen being able to give that position back. Behrman is up 3 places in P6. Piastri still unable to make ground up on Tsunoda. He is 3 tenths behind. He's all under the rear wing of the Japanese driver there in P8. So yet to see where Piastri lost positions here. So watching the race restart for you all. So it was a great start from Lando. The start that he needed with the slipstream that everyone got behind. You would suspect really that Lando, if he didn't get the advantage that he had off the start, he would have lost P1. And well, Lewis got such a great start Oh my goodness, how the two Ferrari drivers actually touched, I think, as Charles Leclerc had to take to the escape, had to take across the grass, as did Max Verstappen as well. But I think the two Ferrari drivers touched as Lewis actually got blocked in by Lando. And if it wasn't for Lando in front, I think Charles cleverly was boxing Lewis in there. Otherwise, Lewis would have potentially got past Charles. So watching the replay, he is getting the benefit of the slipstream, Lewis. It gets him alongside his teammate and into the braking zone, and I think there's the lightest of touches because Charles gets caught by Verstappen. So I guess who is ahead at the apex there? I do not know. As Oscar Piastri, as there's switches of positions there, not entirely sure. As Verstappen has got ahead of Hamilton there. What has happened with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen as they've made some changes of position there? It's really backed up the field. Lewis Hamilton is trying to get back past. There's a yellow flag as Verstappen has been overtaken by Lewis Hamilton. There's been contact between Lewis and Verstappen as Lewis Hamilton is falling through the field here, it seems. Is this just a data issue? I think it may be, as Verstappen has actually lost the position to Behrman, who is up into P4. What has happened here? Lewis Hamilton fighting hard with Max Verstappen. We know there's no love lost between them. It has sorted itself out now. And well, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, I'm rejoining the action as Behrman sent it up the inside of Verstappen, of all people, into turn 6. Unbelievable here from the British driver, Ollie Behrman, in the Haas. He did leave the track there and he has backed up the field here. Look at this. But Lewis Hamilton is now running away here. 2.2 seconds. I imagine the stewards will be investigating this. I haven't seen a replay. And in all of this, Piastri still hasn't been able to benefit from the backup of those drivers ahead. He is actually losing ground to Yuki Tsunoda, but waiting to watch the replay here. It is getting spicy out there. Lando Norris is 2.1 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. Hamilton is now 4.5 seconds ahead of Behrman, who is holding up Max Verstappen. Did Max go for a move on Lewis, and Lewis defended clean? I say cleanly. I have no idea if he defended cleanly or not. I need to see a replay, guys. What has happened here? But crazy scenes here. Normally this race is a bit of a boring affair, but it is getting spicy here in only the seventh lap of this race. Wow, what has happened? Max had passed Lewis into turn 1, but had he lost the position, did he outbrake himself? So I'm watching the replay now. Max went for a lunge on Lewis down the inside. They went side by side, and Max forced Lewis off the track, and then they stayed on the circuit. Lewis had to try and stay on the circuit. I imagine Max will be claiming that he was ahead at the apex. We're yet to waiting to see a replay. Who was ahead at the apex? I don't know. It's very close, but I think Lewis just has it there. I wonder if Max is on the radio claiming he was ahead at the apex. But one thing for sure is that even so, Max has lost out a number of positions there on... he's lost out a couple of positions and, of course, more importantly, a considerable amount of time to Lewis right now. And then when they went into turn 4, Max tried to do the lunge and hold it ahead of the apex, and Lewis locked up to the escape road, and Max went very deep and then found himself under attack by Ollie Behrman, of all people, who is up in P4. So it got very messy between Lewis and Max Verstappen there in that first sector. Yet to see whether the stewards will be investigating that, as at the moment they are currently investigating a lap 1 incident between Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, but there we go. Failing to follow the race director's instruction, escape road instructions there, Lewis Hamilton. That is for turn 4. He didn't use the escape road there, but I think he was too far into the corner before I think it was too far into the corner to be even able to use the escape road. So that's what we see there. But Oscar Piastri is in P9 still. 28.395, a fastest first sector for him. Right now, in the championship standings, Lando Norris would be heading up to 357 points to Oscar Piastri's 348. He would be leading the championship by 9 points right now if Oscar Piastri finishes P9 and Lando finishes P1. Reconfirmation there of Lewis Hamilton being investigated for failing to follow race director's instructions for the escape road. But I'm surprised they're not investigating. Well, maybe they don't need to investigate the incident between Lewis and Max, because they deemed that Lewis was ahead at the apex anyway, and Max has come out second best. 3 tenths behind Behrman. He's gaining considerably on Behrman down that start-finish straight into turn 1, but he's on the mediums and can cannot get enough out of that last corner to get past Behrman right now, as Sainz has just been overtaken by Bortoletto in the Stake F1 car. So Carlos Sainz, who qualified P7 yesterday but had a 5-place grid penalty carried over from the race in the United States Grand Prix for that incident on Kimi Antonelli, he's not having a fair good time of it out there right now. Liam Lawson has retired from this race, unfortunately, as Lewis Hamilton is stating, what are they doing about people who took advantage in turn 1? Nothing yet. Let's focus on our race. So now Lewis Hamilton, we first had George, and now we have Lewis asking about who took advantage in turn 1. And I suspect, really, what he's talking about there is he's talking about his teammate, about those who took advantage in turn 1, because I think he will say he was ahead at the apex at the start of this race into turn 1. But the stewards definitely have, they definitely have a lot to deal with right now. They're very busy, as turn 1 incident involving Verstappen and Hamilton has been noted for causing a collision. So the stewards are now making their way through the incidents, but they have not gone back to the start of this race to turn 1 yet. It seems like they've glossed over that right now. So, yeah, we'll see how that fares for them. Update on the gap to Norris and Charles Leclerc. It's 2.7 seconds, and Norris is consistently quicker than that of Charles, as we kind of expected. Charles will be happy with this, though, as he is kind of staying within touching distance, and especially within a pit stop error distance of Lando Norris, because we know that McLaren is definitely susceptible right now, especially the second pit stop for sure, which there's no guarantee Norris will get that first pit stop, because Oscar Piastri is currently in a battle of his own. Maybe they'll prioritise him to do an undercut on those ahead. If Norris gets the second pit stop, then he could be susceptible to that slow pit stop, which has so often been the case in previous races. But 2.7 seconds is the gap. Lewis Hamilton is P3. He's 8 seconds behind Lando Norris, but importantly for him, he's 5 seconds ahead of Ollie Behrman, who is up 5 places. Yes, if you're just joining us, welcome. Your eyes and ears are not deceiving you. Ollie Behrman is ahead of Max Verstappen, ahead of Russell, ahead of Antonelli, and ahead of Oscar Piastri, and he's up 5 places into P4. A great drive from him thus far, positioning his car very well at the start of this race to gain a few nice positions with the well, there was no turn 1 lap crash, but it got very messy there down into turn 1, which he positioned his car to get the benefit of. And, well, he's now holding off Max Verstappen, who is on a fresh set of mediums. He's quicker than him, a 23.2 last time for Max Verstappen, and Ollie Behrman was a 23.0. And yes, very, very interesting times here. If Behrman actually podiums in a Haas, he's your new favourite driver. I think he'll gain a lot of new fans for that. So still no update on the investigations to that of Lewis Hamilton. And at the start of this race, in relation, Lewis Hamilton is currently a part of 2 investigations from the stewards right now. The turn 1 incident between himself and Max Verstappen, but that is on Max Verstappen, I believe, that they're investigating more so than it is Lewis. We will see. And then he's been investigated for not using the escape road through turn 4, the newly added escape road. But I think he was too far into the corner to be even able to take that escape road at the time. But we will see. Oscar Piastri has finally, in my rambling there of giving a rundown of kind of on the current standings of the race, Oscar Piastri has now finally got past Yuki Tsunoda, is up into P8. That would gain him an additional 2 points. So that gap at the to Lando Norris at the top of the standings would be 7 points, as Norris is in P1 gaining 21 points right now, and Oscar Piastri would be only gaining 4. He now has his sights set on the Mercedes of George Russell ahead, who has lost a position to his teammate at the start. He was not happy with Max Verstappen, but I think Max Verstappen definitely had the right to maintain that position of 4th place at the time, ahead of George Russell, as he made it 4 wide into the first corner. Very, very interesting. Esteban Ocon looks to be on the attack, though, of Yuki Tsunoda. So Yuki Tsunoda, has he just had a couple of errors there? Has he lost a bit of time to Oscar Piastri? He's on the mediums as well, as is his teammates. So the 2 Red Bull drivers are following the same strategy. Of course, Verstappen will be thinking right here, as much as he would love to get back past Ollie Behrman, he needs to think of the long game. 60 laps remaining in this Mexico City Grand Prix. 5-time winner here, Max Verstappen. He will be looking for his 6th, but it doesn't seem like with the pace that Lando Norris has in that McLaren, 3.6 seconds the gap to for Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari. It doesn't look like that is going to be the case here today unless something dramatic happens in this race. Never say never, of course. Mark your words, Max's mediums will probably let him lead around lap 45. Yes, Max Verstappen will lead probably at some point in this race because he is on those mediums and will go longer than those on the softs. That is to be definitely expected, and that's what he's hoping for, is the alternate strategy that he is on the quicker tyre towards the end of the race and maybe even benefit from a late safety car. It is a 10-second advantage if you pit under safety car conditions, whether that be VSC or a full safety car, so there's always the benefit of that by going long. Esteban Ocon, can he overtake Yuki Tsunoda now? Because Yuki Tsunoda has lost a tremendous amount of time to Oscar Piastri, as Piastri has a bit of clean air. 23.277 last time around for Oscar Piastri. And, well, Ocon unable to get past Tsunoda there, but he will have double DRS. He'll have another opportunity as he makes his way down into turn 4. Will he be able to do it? No, Tsunoda just gets that extra grip than that of the Haas. Of course, we saw yesterday Lando Norris, the aggressiveness through turn 2 and 3 on those curves can be all the difference, and get yourself a nice bit of fresh air, how aggressive you attack those. But, of course, you will maybe pick up some track limits violations, which a few drivers have already done, so they need to be careful there. Antonelli giving Max a hard time. Ollie Behrman is helping Lewis, that is for sure. Yeah, so Antonelli is now in the DRS of Max Verstappen, as George Russell is as well. So we'll see if they'll be able to attack the Red Bull driver, as Norris sets the fastest lap of this race, a 22.217. Charles Leclerc does a 22.9. So a big swing there in advantage for Lando Norris. His advantage has now gone out to 4.3 seconds almost, as Charles Leclerc did a 22.9. So that was 7 tenths gained in that lap alone, Lando on Charles. Lewis Hamilton is 5.3 seconds back from Leclerc, and he's actually gaining on him slightly. He was a couple of attempts quicker than his teammate last time out, and I think Lewis will still be on the radio claiming around... Oh, as Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda was... it was a contentious issue, especially on some of my content, that Yuki Tsunoda, he moved under braking. I still stand by that. When he defended from Ollie Behrman last time around, and it obviously brought criticism from Ollie Behrman post race in Circuit of the Americas, and Esteban Ocon is now complaining. This other Haas driver, the other side of the Haas garage, is complaining about the dangerous defence of Yuki Tsunoda right now. Didn't see what happened, but Esteban Ocon also getting vocal on the radio. Maybe it's just mind games and tactics to try and do something there, but Yuki Tsunoda is currently in the crosshairs of Esteban Ocon. We'll see how that battle fares, as he has been in the DRS of Yuki on those medium tyres compared to Ocon on those softs. So Norris nearly up to 5 seconds at 22.1. Another purple lap for Lando Norris, and that is another 7 tenths gained in that lap alone. Wow. He is building up a significant advantage right now, and that is just the pace of the McLaren. How long is a pit stop here? Not entirely sure how long. The pit stop lost time is just over 20 seconds, just over 21 seconds. So that is the pit stop lost time. Those are the gaps that you're looking at. So as an example, if Lando was to pit right now, he would come out behind his teammate. So that is what the teams are looking for. Turn 4 incident involving Hamilton has been noted for leaving the track and gaining an advantage into turn 4. Interesting. So could Lewis Hamilton, no further action for failing to follow the race directions. So he's been reprieved of one element there of not using the escape road, but he's now being investigated for leaving the track and gaining an advantage in that same incident. Very interesting, stewards. Very interesting, FIA stewards. If that is the case, he would be receiving, I believe, a 10-second time penalty for gaining an advantage and not giving it back. So that is something that he would have to take at the pit stop when it happens. We'll see what the stewards deem that to be. But at the moment, he is gaining on Charles. He is cutting into that gap of Charles. 5 seconds is the gap right now, and 22.549 last time. And there's a 10-second time penalty confirmation there of Lewis Hamilton leaving the track and gaining an advantage. 10-second time penalty for him. Max did send his car down the inside. He was clearly deemed to be ahead at the apex and kept it on track. And, well, that clearly means that they believe that Max Verstappen wasn't ahead at the apex when it came to turn 1. That incident has been reprieved, and Lewis Hamilton has a 10-second time penalty, but he has to take in his pit stop. That would promote Ollie Behrman, right as it stands, into P3 when they make their pit stops. Unbelievable scenes here right now. Unbelievable scenes. So, yes, it is all about this ahead at the apex rule. I mean, look, let's be honest, there was no racing room ever left by Max Verstappen, but them is the rules, guys. Them is the rules. I don't like them, but it is what it is, and Lewis Hamilton has found himself deemed by the stewards to not be ahead at the apex, and he has ended up with a 10-second time penalty. He needs to get his head down and crack on right now. He won't be too happy about that, of course. And, of course, many Lewis Hamilton fans won't be right now either. So the rule is too simplistic. Yep, I agree. That's obviously what they've tried to do. I hate the head at the apex rule. I really do. I don't care which driver it is. It's just an idiotic rule. Really, Max and Lewis are both skilled enough to be able to go through half a lap here, go through each of those sections as they should do. They should be able to go through those wheel to wheel, leaving fair and clean, having clean but hard racing, and leaving fair and respectful amount of room. That's what we want to see as racing fans. We want to see the best go at it, wheel to wheel, and yeah, I don't like it, but it is what it is. It is the racing rules at the moment, and that is how they are written, and you need to use them to your advantage. But what that will do right now for Charles Leclerc is that really that kind of has secured him P2. Lewis Hamilton did a 23.1 last time around. Charles Leclerc is losing time hand over fist to Lando Norris. So I'm watching the replay. So okay. Do you know what? To be fair to Lewis, now I'm watching it back. Lewis didn't use the escape road. When he could have done. He didn't use the escape road when he could have done. He used the grass. He didn't use the full concrete tarmac, and that's why he's held onto the position. But could it still be... could he still negate that 10-second time penalty when it comes to fighting Max Verstappen? We will see. So now I've seen that back. In fairness, he has gained an advantage there, Lewis. He has gained an advantage. Max actually was comfortably kind of ahead into that apex. Lewis did lock up, and then he took to the escape road, and then he halfway through it went, nah, I ain't using the rest of it, and kept the position. So Piastri is closest out there on track right now to a driver, as is Esteban Ocon as well to Yuki Tsunoda. We'll see if Esteban Ocon will be able to get past Yuki Tsunoda, but Piastri getting very close to the back of George Russell, and under braking there you can see. Carlos Sainz, the first driver to pit, is in P15. He is on the medium compound tire. He's coming off the mediums. So is this damage for that of Carlos Sainz? Is he going to be committing to a two-stop strategy here? We did predict that with this track temperature, 51.5 degrees, while Pirelli suggested that the main and the quickest really and the preferred strategy was a one-stop. It does seem like that we may see the two-stop. Carlos Sainz, what tyre is he going to come out? He's out on the hards. Wow. So Williams are going very bold here. No, he's on the softs. Correction. Sainz is on the softs. So he is on the soft compound tyre, and that is definite confirmation that he will be doing a two-stop strategy here today. And I suspect the rest of the field will probably look at that and follow suit. Lando Norris is on his way to building a comfortable pit stop gap to him and Charles. 8 seconds is the gap right now. He gained like 8 temps on Charles. Piastri a lot closer to George Russell than I think he was last time around. He's 6 temps back behind George, who is in the dirty air of his teammate, and Max Verstappen, who's not far ahead. Let's see how Oscar Piastri fares. DRS open for the Australian, currently P8, currently losing the championship lead to Lando Norris. Will he be able to gain that position and get back to where he started? Is he going to go for a late move on George? No, he just doesn't have enough, but he is gaining on the Mercedes driver. Even though Piastri has had his struggles here this weekend, you do suspect that still that McLaren is a much better car when it comes to managing its tyres than that of a good Mercedes ahead of him. Lando Norris update 8 seconds to that of Charles Leclerc in P2. Lewis Hamilton is P3, 5.7 seconds behind Charles, but he has a 10-second 10-second penalty to take at the pit stop when he makes it. Ollie Behrman is 4.3 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. He is there on merit in P5. He is 2 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, who is on the mediums right now. Ollie Behrman is in for an unbelievable result. As track limits violation for Carlos Sainz. A few drivers have picked up track limits violations in this race. Oscar Piastri going on the attack again of George Russell. Maybe is he going to go for a late send down into... no. So, turn 1 incident involving a reiteration there from the stewards. Verstappen and Hamilton is under investigation for causing a collision into turn 1. So they're still not done investigating Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. And with Verstappen being the first name there in that investigation, I believe they are investigating Max Verstappen in that investigation. So we'll see what comes of that. But Oscar Piastri is very close to George Russell at the end of the start-finish straight again. It is double DRS here, so can he be aggressive over those curbs and stay close to the Mercedes driver? He can indeed, but he loses a bit on traction out of turn 3, and that is all important for him there, as he just doesn't have enough to get past George Russell and deem ahead at the apex, as we've already discussed about that rule, into turn 5. As Lance Stroll has got ahead of Fernando Alonso. Yes, your ears and eyes are not deceiving you. Lance Stroll is up 6 places and is up ahead of Fernando Alonso on merit. What has happened there? Wow. Unbelievable scenes from Lance Stroll. This race is providing us at the moment some strange scenes out there on track. Charles Leclerc, update to him. That gap is now 9 seconds nearly to Lando Norris. It is 9 seconds as Charles crosses the start-finish line. So Lando is just building up this gap. 20 seconds, of course, is the pit stop. The average pit stop loss window here, 20 to 21 seconds it was. So that's what Lando, of course, will be looking to pull out right now, even if there is a safety car restart, to ensure that he has enough of a gap to pit and still maintain the lead. We love an investigation drama, us Brits. Well, sometimes that's all we have to look forward to. Oscar Piastri getting close to George Russell again down into turn 1. The closest battle out there on track right now, but George just close enough to Antonelli to be able to get the benefit of the slipstream. Well, he doesn't have DRS, but Piastri is a lot closer than he was last time out. Is this enough for Piastri? 2 tenths behind. He's 2.5 tenths behind. And no, he's not able to get there. Turn 3 incident involving Verstappen is now being investigated for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. This is... the stewards have their work cut out for them right now. We are 21 laps into this race, and I think that might be the turn 1, lap 1 incident that the stewards are investigating of Max Verstappen leaving the track and gaining an advantage right now. So, wow, of course, they want to get these investigations sorted before anyone makes their pit stop so that they can take those penalties in race and not at the end. That's what they want to do. So, we'll see what comes of that. But currently, it looks like Max Verstappen is under investigation for 2 separate incidents. We'll see what comes of that, as he's currently in P5, 2.3 seconds behind Ollie Behrman, who has been closing the gap. Ollie Behrman in the Haas, ladies and gents, is on merit, on pace alone, catching Lewis Hamilton. A 23.0 last time around for Ollie Behrman and a 23.1 for Lewis Hamilton. That gap is now down to 3.8 seconds, whereas not long ago it was 5 seconds. Ollie Behrman reviewed. There is no further investigation for Max Verstappen at turn 3 for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. That has been swiftly investigated, and they have deemed that he's not gained an advantage there. But there is still open that second investigation with him and Lewis Hamilton for causing a collision. Lewis Hamilton has been told about the 10-second time penalty that he has been given for the turn 4 incident, and they've stated, we don't agree. As he says, that is such S-man, the grip is so small there, the grip there is so low. So obviously not happy on the radio, Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari, understandably, but that is what he has been given. We'll review it at the end when we get a closer look at it and we can really delve into it. But yeah, I think looking back at it, I think it may be justified. it may be justified based on the current racing guidelines and the overtaking guidelines as they are. So Charles Leclerc is 10 seconds behind Lando Norris now, 23 laps into this race, 49 laps completed. George Russell has now got ahead of Kimi Antonelli, as Kimi is the first of those drivers in the top 8 to make a pit stop here. Will Kimi Antonelli come onto the mediums, or will he go onto another set of softs? Let's see what he does. So he's going to come out into a slot behind Lance Stroll, I suspect, as Fernando Alonso has also made a pit stop. He's just set a purple middle sector on a brand new set of mediums. So yes, this is evidently the two-stop strategy that is in play here. The soft, medium to soft, which Pirelli suggested. You can see there on the mediums, a brand new set of mediums that Kimi Antonelli has. But every single team out there has a brand new set of mediums available to them. So we will see. Maybe Norris will go for the one-stop. I think with the lap times that he is currently setting, he doesn't even need to use a two-stop here. But I think from the majority of the field, it will be a two-stop strategy. But Hamilton is being caught hand over fist right now by Ollie Bearman. There we go. Turn 1 incident involving Verstappen and Hamilton is no further action for causing a collision. I need to see that again. I cannot remember what happened, to be honest with you guys. I remember what happened in turn 4, but not into turn 1. So that's another incident that we'll review at the end of this race. So stay tuned, of course, to be here for that, where we will have a look and you guys can get involved in that as well and give your guys' opinions. But Verstappen has got ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who has now decided to pit, and he will take his 10-second time penalty. It's the medium compound tyre going on the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton, who was being caught by Ollie Bearman, and Bearman is now up into P3 on merit. He is 2.2 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, and well, Lewis Hamilton will now take a 10-second time penalty. So this is going to go from being a 20-odd second pit stop here to a 30-second pit stop. He is going to lose a significant amount of time. Where is he going to rejoin? He could be in that battle with Oscar Piastri, as it was when they eventually make that pit stop. He is going to come out, Lewis Hamilton, ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. So he really needs to get a move on now, but that has really, really unfortunately ruined the potential chances, or any chance you would suspect, of a podium, a first podium for Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari, as Antonelli is all over the back of Lance Stroll. We know that Antonelli has had crashes before when he's had fresh new tyres back in Zandvoort, of course, with Charles Leclerc trying to utilise that additional grip that he has, and he needs to just be careful, Kimi, and ensure that he dispatches Lance Stroll nice and easy and doesn't do anything stupid, because he's on course for a decent haul of points today as well, and a decent result, as Ollie Bearman responds to Lewis Hamilton's pit stop there. So Ollie Bearman, where is he going to come out? Come on, Haas, good pit stop please, because Ollie Bearman is on for a decent result here today. As Verstappen is told, as Verstappen asks, what do you want me to do? And they went, what do you mean, what we doing? We're staying out, Max. So we're on a one stop or a two stop at the moment, right? Okay. Bit of sarcasm between a bit of sarcasm being dished out by GP, Max Verstappen's engineer there. Love to hear it. Between their relationship is always really interesting to listen to on the radio. It's like an old married couple, GP and Max Verstappen on the radio. But Oscar Piastri pits now. He is out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So Oscar Piastri, with that 10-second time penalty, is ahead of Lewis Hamilton, as we predicted he would be. Carlos Sainz is just ahead of Nico Hülkenberg there. He made an on-track overtake Carlos Sainz. Hulkenberg still yet to make a pit stop. So we do have some drivers out there on the one stop, some on the two stop. But with those making some pit stops right now, Ollie Bearman has got out ahead of Kimi Antonelli. So that's what Haas were worried about. They were worried about the undercut of Kimi Antonelli, and that is who they have covered off. So hopefully Bearman, with the pace that he has showcased in the first stint, he'll be able to make some quick headway here and get himself back up into maybe those podium positions. But do not rule out Max Verstappen. He is in P3 on those mediums, alternate strategy on the one stop. As Russell now comes into the pits as well. Russell comes into the pits. So they're all responding here to these pit stops as Piastri is getting stuck behind Alex Albon. Let's see if Hamilton will be able to get up past Oscar Piastri. Tsunoda now finds himself up into P4. Esteban Ocon is now up into P5. And I tell you what, if we had a red flag now, what a restarting grid order we would have, guys. What a restarting grid order we would have. Oscar Piastri is overtaking Alex Albon, though, comfortably down into turn 1. And George Russell there, the Mercedes, they covered off the undercut of Oscar Piastri. And Russell has held position on Oscar Piastri for now, but George Russell, of course, needs to get those tyres up to temperature as Bortoleto is coming under attack by Kimi Antonelli as Kimi Antonelli gets past Gabriel Bortoleto, I believe, down into turn 5. Side by side they are, and yes, Antonelli makes quick work of Gabriel Bortoleto, and that was important for Kimi because he didn't want to lose the back of the speedy Haas here today in the form of Ollie Behrman, who got past Bortoleto quite comfortably. Incident involving Carlos Sainz for speeding in the pit lane is under investigation, so Carlos Sainz could be getting I think it's a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I believe that's the penalty given out for speeding in the pit lane. Normally that is a slam dunk, so that is what Sainz is being investigated for. Confirmation earlier on there as well of Lewis Hamilton did serve his 10-second time penalty. But George Russell is under attack. He's on the back of Lance Stroll, and well, Piastri hasn't been able to stay with George Russell here. Maybe a slight error by Oscar Piastri somewhere in that middle sector has just lost him, importantly, a bit of time to George Russell because he has lost the DRS to the Mercedes driver. Lewis Hamilton is looking to make quick work of Alex Albon as Albon is out there on the hard compound tyre still, as is Franco Colapinto. 5-second time penalty confirmation for Carlos Sainz for speeding in the pit lane, so that's a shame for him. He has already made a pit stop. He will take that at, no doubt, his second pit stop. As we are about to complete the 27th lap of this race, let's have a rundown of your order right as it stands, because we have nearly half the field making a pit stop, and it looks like we have some drivers on the 1 stop and some on the 2. But one thing that is guaranteed is that Charles Leclerc is 13.5 seconds, nearly about to be 14 seconds behind Lando Norris. Lando, he defended very well into turn 1 and held the lead after Charles Leclerc had to give the position back. He is setting tremendous times out up front, and well, as he has been all weekend, he has definitely been the man to beat. He has a 13.6 second lead over Leclerc in P2. Verstappen is on the mediums. He's still yet to pit, as is Yuki Tsunoda as well. Verstappen is 13 seconds behind Charles Leclerc, but he is gaining a little bit now that he has some clean air as some drivers have pitted out the way in front of him. Yuki Tsunoda is up 6 places into P4. He is on the mediums going long, as is Isaac Hadjar, who has now just been promoted up into P5 with Esteban Ocon pitting there. So we have Hadjar on the mediums. We have Behrman, who was up into P3 ahead of Max Verstappen. He's now up into P5 as Behrman has just got past Isaac Hadjar. And he is still being chased down by Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli couldn't get past Hadjar in one fell swoop there in relation to Ollie Behrman. And, well, he is looking like to get past Hadjar, who is on considerably much older medium compound tyres than that of the young Italian. And he doesn't defend too much as he had no answer. But George Russell sets the fastest first sector there. He's looking to get back on the back of this battle of his teammate Ollie Behrman, who finds himself now up into P5, looking to try and get back into P3. He's committed to the 2 stop, whereas Verstappen is potentially on that 1 stop, as maybe is Yuki Tsunoda as well. And Behrman is 5th, Antonelli is 6th, Hadjar is in 7th, still yet to make a pit stop. George Russell is 8th. He made a pit stop to cover the undercut of Oscar Piastri, which he did comfortably. He is in P8 with Bortoleto in 9th, still yet to make a pit stop, and Piastri is coming a bit unstuck behind Gabriel Bortoleto right now. He's been stuck behind him for a couple of laps, it seems. Lewis Hamilton, in that meantime, is closing the gap on Oscar Piastri as he's been held up. And Hamilton, who took that 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage, he was in P3, but he's now in P11. Albon in P12 on that hard compound tyre, still yet to make a pit stop. Sainz has a 5-second time penalty to take for speeding in the pit lane on his second pit stop and is in P13. Ocon is 14th after just coming out of the pits there. Alonso is 15th. Gasly is 16th. Stroll is 17th. Colapinto is 18th. We've had another retirement there from Nico Hulkenberg. Not entirely sure what has happened there from Nico Hulkenberg. That's gone quite under the radar, but Piastri now does dispatch Gabriel Bortoleto as there's a change of position between the 2 Williams drivers, with Sainz moving up into P12, Albon in P13, and Russell does get past Isaac Hadjar and moves up into P7, and he'll be looking to close down on the rear of his teammates Mercedes, who is just 2 seconds further up the road. Oscar Piastri sets the fastest first sector of the race with that nice tow and DRS assistance he got from the Stake F1 car. He also will be looking to get past Isaac Hadjar right now as it stands, Oscar Piastri in P9 would only gain 2 points, and Norris would gain 25. That would mean that he would be 9 points behind Lando Norris at the end of this race. Of course, he still has a number of drivers to make pit stops ahead of him, in particular Isaac Hadjar, so he will move up into P8 very swiftly, but he did lose out quite big time at the start of this race. I'm still yet to see as well the replay of the race start. Understandably, don't want to show too many replays of the race start, as they do have a habit of doing that, but it would be interesting to see where he did lose those positions. It did get very busy at the start of that into that turn 1 corner. Lots of drivers taking advantage there and avoiding potential collisions, as Hamilton gets past Gabriel Bortoletto now. He's the next driver to get past the Stake F1 car, the sole Stake F1 car out there on grid, as Hulkenberg has now retired, and we also had an early retirement from Liam Lawson as well. The car is jumping in the pit lane, is what Carlos Sainz reported on the radio. I don't know why. Massive jumping in the pit lane. So Carlos Sainz got that 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and it may be due to a mechanical issue in that Williams and not actual driver error. But it's normally a slam dunk, of course, when it's investigated for being speeding in the pit lane. Norris next to pit. No, I don't think so. Norris is the fastest. Norris isn't the fastest man out on track right now, because there's many a driver out there on fresh medium compound tyres. But he's doing more than enough right now. He has a pit stop window to Max Verstappen. He has, remember, it's a 21, on average, 21 pit stop loss time here at the Mexico City Grand Prix, and he has 28-second gap to Max Verstappen in P3. So he has that pit stop window. He has a safety car pit stop window to Charles Leclerc as well. It is 12 seconds to pit under the safety car. It's a 10-second advantage, pretty much. Then it is on the safety car, as Hamilton is now the next driver to get past Isaac Hadjar, and he moves up into P9 and will be looking at the back of Oscar Piastri. So, Ollie Behrman is 1 second ahead of Kimi Antonelli, and he is about to catch Yuki Tsunoda. No love lost between these two. Ollie Behrman has slandered Yuki, arguably, in the lead up to this race, or post the United States Grand Prix. And, well, we have round 2 between them. His teammate, Esteban Ocon, has already complained about Yuki's defence in this race. Well, let's see if Ollie Behrman will be able to dispatch Yuki a lot easier than his last attempt in the Circuit of the Americas. So Charles Leclerc pits. Charles Leclerc pits here off the soft compound tyre. He is the first one out of the top 3 to pit here. He hasn't had an answer to the pace of Lando Norris, and to be honest, I didn't expect them to be able to, but he has been doing a decent job thus far, and, well, he does have that pit stop window to Yuki Tsunoda. We know that Max Verstappen is most likely going maybe for a one-stop here, as Ollie Behrman now has the DRS on Yuki Tsunoda. Does Yuki even have an opportunity to defend here from the Haas driver as they make their way down into turn 1? Yuki needs to be smart about it, as he's on 31 lap old mediums. He is on a completely different strategy to that of Ollie Behrman. But one thing is for sure, is that Ollie Behrman is having a tremendous race right now. He's up into P4 on merit alone right now, and he has an outside chance to finish on the podium, with Lewis Hamilton taking that 10-second time penalty, and with Max Verstappen, we don't know what strategy he is working out right here today. He is probably going for that one stop. Behrman could have the pace in that Haas. It seems that they've got substantial pace here compared to the likes of Mercedes, Oscar Piastri, and the bigger boys, shall we say. So there is definitely a top 5 on the cards here, with maybe an outside opportunity of a podium for Ollie Behrman. But Charles Leclerc, good pit stop from Ferrari. That has got them out in front of Ollie Behrman and Yuki Tsunoda. So that was a nice pit stop window that Leclerc had created for himself. He's on the medium compound tyre now, committing most likely to a 2-stop here. Would he be able to take that medium 39 laps? Potentially. He's already just taken the soft 31 laps, so maybe he'll be taking this medium to the end of the race. Is Verstappen going to get incredibly undercut? Verstappen will probably get... will he get incredibly undercut? No, don't think so. Don't think so. As Antonelli is now the next driver to get past Yuki Tsunoda up into P5. Kimi, he is looking to not let Ollie Bearman get away. 1.5 seconds is the gap. 1.3 seconds is the gap to Ollie Bearman and Kimi Antonelli. Lando Norris has a 28.7 second gap to Max Verstappen. Is he going to pit now, or is he going to keep going? His lap times do look okay. He is losing time, though. Is he going to be making his way into the pit lane, Lando Norris? No, he's going to continue going. A 23.3 last time around. We'll see what Max Verstappen's lap time is, but Max's last lap time on those mediums, a tyre that should be in better shape right now than that of the soft of Lando Norris. He did a 23.383, but Max still has a couple of more corners to get across the start-finish line till we see what that lap time is. So, yes, Lando's 33-lap-old softs. That is how good the McLaren is here this weekend. It is a return for form for that McLaren. It is a McLaren that we saw be very dominant at the start of this season. And that is what we are seeing here right now, because, yeah, there's no way that McLaren should be able to do those lap times on the softs at this age compared to those on the mediums. That is just shows how supreme the McLaren is in these conditions, particularly in Lando Norris's hands here this weekend with managing those tyre temperatures. As Piastri gets past Yuki Tsunoda now into P7, he is 2.3 seconds behind George Russell, and George Russell got very close to the rear of Kimi Antonelli. I wonder if there'll be maybe a change of position called on the radio. Kimi Antonelli has got into P5 and a position ahead of his teammate on merit, so we'll see if there'll be team orders. Of course, George Russell, the more experienced driver, technically still the fourth driver and the last remaining driver out of the top three, still within mathematically within this championship. But Lando Norris now comes into the pit lane, and importantly for Lando Norris is that he has the first pit stop, which unfortunately, Piastri fans, it means most likely Oscar Piastri will get the slow pit stop, as the second pit stop here. Well, the second pit stop this season for McLaren has meant that it is a much slower pit stop for them. But we'll keep an eye on it for you. Lando Norris is the second pit stop. Apologies. Lando Norris is the second pit stop. Can I stop talking, Max Gaming? No, because that's what I do here, is that I talk. And there's many a person in here right now who is appreciating, obviously, what we do on this channel. So big thank you, everyone. Over 20,000 viewers in the stream right now. Big thank you. Hope you're enjoying this Mexican City Grand Prix. We still have 37 laps remaining. We are just about to approach the halfway mark. Lando Norris has got out 7.3 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. We're yet to see a replay of the Norris pit stop. How many seconds was it? Lando Norris, the pit stop was... He was in the pits for 22 seconds, so I didn't see the actual pit stop itself, so I suspect that's around average. That's around the average pit stop lost time. So McLaren, well done. Their second pit stop, finally, was a decent one, because Oscar Piastri took that first pit stop earlier on, as he is looking to look ahead. As George Russell has coded message, I've got no pace here, to his team on the radio. He is free to overtake. So is that free to race? Or is that Kimi will move out of the way? I suspect that's free to race, as George Russell complains on the radio that he has no pace here. So the only driver in the top... Well, there's only a couple of drivers on this grid who are yet to make a pit stop. That's Colapinto down in P16, who started on the hard compound tyre. It is Alex Albon, who's in P13 on the hard compound tyre as well. Gabriel Bortoleto and Yuki Tsunoda in P10 and P9 are on the medium. They are no doubt going for a one-stop race. They'll be going probably for an extra 5, maybe 10 laps further on this medium and going on to the soft to the end. So they'll be quick at the end of this race and they'll be getting racing. Same as Max Verstappen, he is the other driver yet to make a pit stop here. He is in P2. He's 9.4 seconds behind Lando Norris, who had a comfortable pit stop gap to the drivers behind. He is on 35 lap old mediums, started on the mediums. He went 4 wide into turn 1, and, well, he also got into a bit of a tangle with Lewis Hamilton as well, with Lewis Hamilton, after that battle, coming out with a 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage for his troubles. So, yes, he is going to be going long in this race, and Max will also be getting racy at the end. And maybe he's also hoping for a nice safety car advantage. So that is still very much a possibility here at the high altitude circuit in Mexico City. So we are halfway through this race. Lando Norris leads with Verstappen in P2. Charles Leclerc is P3 with Ollie Behrman in P4. Yes, Ollie Behrman is in P4 on merit and is ahead of Kimi Antonelli and George Russell in the Mercedes, who have been told they are free to race. But Oscar Piastri is also free to race. He is back up into P7, which is the position he started in. And, well, he, as it stands right now, in P2 in this championship, would gain 6 points. Lando Norris would be leading this championship by 5 points after this race ends, with 35 laps remaining. Yuki Tsunoda now pits, so a lot sooner than maybe I suspected they would pit. So 36 laps is what Yuki Tsunoda was able to achieve there. He'll be going, I suspect, on the soft compound tyre to the end of this race now. Maybe an outside chance of a two-stop, which a lot of this field is also on. Ollie Behrman, yes, in P4. Antonelli is 5th. Russell is 6th. Piastri 7th. Hamilton is in P8. He's 4.4 seconds behind Oscar Piastri in that Ferrari after taking a 10-second time penalty. He was in P3 at the time, so really unfortunate for Lewis. But we'll review that incident at the end of this race, so stay tuned for that. Carlos Sainz is up into P9. But he has a 5-second time penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. Bortoletto, we said, has yet to make a pit stop. He's in P10. Ocon is in P11. Albon is 12th on the hards. Stroll is up 13th, by the way. Fernando Alonso is another retirement. Wow, where has that come from? We've got 3 retirements in this race. Hadjar is P14. Tsunoda just comes out and rejoins in P15 as Verstappen pits. Okay, so a bit sooner than expected for the Red Bull drivers, who are on the who are now going onto the softs, no doubt, as Yuki is on the softs. Max Verstappen is going to come out behind Lewis Hamilton, who has taken that 10-second time penalty, but Max will no doubt go to the end of this race. He is on a set of soft compound tyres. He had no brand new softs available to use today, so that's probably why he decided to go for the alternate strategy of starting it on the mediums, and well, he nearly took P1 at the start of this race. Bortoletto also coming into the pits now as well. So we nearly have every driver making a pit stop here today, other than the 2 drivers who started on the hards in the form of Alex Albon and Franco Colapinto. But they are losing time hand over fist. We expected the C2 here, a skipping compound, as Russell is now effing and blinding on the radio. As Russell is getting a bit sarky on the radio to his engineer that he is stating he's got a McLaren on his behind. He did use more foul language than that, and that is a clear indication that he is trying to get team orders to let himself pass Kimi Antonelli. But Piastri cannot find a way past right now. They have been told that they're able to race and they're free to overtake, and I think Antonelli... What has happened there? I think Antonelli has been able to do that. So, sorry, guys, just reloading the stream. Hang on a second. What the hell happened there? Apologies, I just lost stream. We are back, though. We are back. Do not fear. We are back. We are back. We are getting there. Jesus, what happened there? 2 secs. Not entirely sure what happened there. There we go. We're back. We're back in order. We're back in order. Not entirely sure what happened there. I was scared. Scary. Sorry. Technical issue. Thought the stream had closed. We are back, though. We are back. Apologies. Don't think we missed much. Don't think we missed much. Apologies for the technical issue. So... we are all good. We are all good. Maybe it was the maybe it was the issue. Maybe it was the server itself closed down because we did find a new server earlier on. But we didn't miss anything in there, thankfully. But yes, we were talking about the battle between Russell and Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli has found himself ahead of George Russell on merit. So George Russell, I believe, has to overtake Kimi Antonelli out on track. While I do rate George Russell, and I think he's one of the best performers on the grid this season, he is being bettered by his teammate right now, and he needs to find a way past him. I don't think, would he be able to? Not entirely sure what happened there. Recording issue for some reason. Maybe that's why it closed down. But yeah, we are good. We're still going. We're still going. Hopefully there's no further, maybe there's no further errors now. Let's hope for everything is back up and running. Think we're good. Feeling good. During the crash, Lance gained 2 more places. But we are back. We're all good. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, as always. Over 20,000 viewers. I know we had a slight drop-off there. But all good this end. But yes, Lando Norris. So Oscar Piastri is up into P6 with that pit stop from Max Verstappen. So that lead